Is there an alternative? So, you've got your book out on the menopause. Where do you stand on HRT, Rosemary?
I think it's very misleading when you start talking about statistics of doubling or trebling the risk. I mean, because if you only got...
When the risk is teeny, teeny,
when the
teeny.
risk is teeny, teeny, you've only got one person, and then, you know, you have two, then you've doubled the risk. Some women have an easy time through the menopause and they have no need to take HRT.
Absolutely.
Others have a terrible time with hot flushes and hot sweats, which make their life a misery. There are also women who are at risk of osteoporosis, and actually taking HRT can help maintain your bones. So actually, it's good for your health. So it's a question of looking at each individual woman and how the menopause is affecting her and her background health. And then you have to look at, does she have a history of breast cancer? Does she have a family history of breast cancer or ovarian cancer? And again, you have to take that into consideration. So there's not a yes or a no answer.
One of the things I've heard the women on the show talking about was their concern. If you've been on the pill, say, from 16 to your early or mid-30s, have a break, have kids, is it wise to then essentially go back on the pill for the next... How many years would you advocate? As long as it needs be?
As long as it needs be. And NICE says take it just to see you through the bad symptoms. But some women want to take it for a lot longer. They say they feel so well. I certainly don't like prescribing it, actually won't prescribe it over the age of 70, but I've got lots of women in their 60s who are aware of the risks, and we write it down together on their notes, aware of the risks, and they say, just don't take me off it. I prefer to take the risk and feel well.
What about alternatives, Dawn?
Well, actually, I mean, I'm so with you, Rosemary. I think it's a fascinating field of medicine, and what's lovely about it is everybody's very different. There are alternatives. It's not HRT or nothing. And I think that's a really important message to get out there, because we've just heard half the number of women are taking HRT. You know, let's go back before those studies. I couldn't do a surgery without seeing a menopausal woman suffering with her symptoms. Almost overnight, they stopped coming in. That's not because they weren't suffering. They just said, I'm not doing HRT, therefore I'm just going to have to put up with it. And we know that about 70% of women will go through the menopause, will have some symptoms, and some of them, as Rosemary says, are really debilitating. So actually, what I'd really like to see, and the pendulum is starting to swing back, and that's a good thing, is even if you think, as a woman, you think, I don't want HRT, it's worth coming to have that conversation. It may be that when you know the facts about HRT, that actually a short course of HRT might be the right thing for you. But equally, there are other things that we can do. Well, it depends on the symptoms, really. But for example, and there is mixed evidence on this, but anecdotally, some ladies who really don't want or aren't appropriate to have hormones will get some relief from hot flushes from an old-fashioned blood pressure drug called clonidine. And I've had a lot of patients who've benefited from that. Not all, but it's worth a try. For some people who are really struggling with the emotions and the mood swings and anxiety or depression, then perhaps we'll use antidepressants, or we might even use a herbal remedy, something like St John's wort. The one thing I would always say is two things about herbal remedies. Number one is, if anything is strong enough to do some good, we have to be realistic about the fact that it could potentially also do some bad. It may have side effects. And the other thing is, herbal remedies are not regulated as yet in the same way as medicines. But some companies volunteer to regulate their product, and it's a very simple thing. If you look in the packaging, if there's a patient information leaflet in a herbal remedy, as you would find in a paracetamol, for example, that means that company have volunteered to regulate their product. And what that means is, you know you're getting what you think you're getting.
Okay. Do feel free to comment and give us a thumbs up if you feel inclined. For more clips from the show and exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, click here. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button here to be automatically informed when new videos are available. Links to our other social media platforms can be found in the description. Thanks for watching.